All right. Good morning, love streamers. Welcome to the Central Coast Center for Spiritual Living Sunday Celebration Service Love Stream, April 18th, 2021. My name is Travis Hogue, and I will be your host, pushing buttons in the background. We're so happy you're here. We have an excellent service planned today. Our beloved Reverend Elizabeth is with us delivering an uplifting and inspired talk on the topic of stepping out and stepping up. And she will be joining us shortly, as well as Charlie Carlin with the Science of Mind Reading. Our musical inspiration, raising the vibe today, is the always fantastic Laura Berman. Woo! All right. And at this time, I would love to invite you to share this love stream with your family and friends. Perhaps start a watch party if you're watching on Facebook, and be sure to leave comments. We're also streaming on YouTube. A big hello to you watching on YouTube or watching the replay in the future. Fantastic. Be sure to leave comments. Let us know where you're watching from, or that kind of stuff. And in the meantime, let us light the way with inspired music by the amazing Laura Berman. Take it away, Laura.
Thank you, Travis. Thank you. Good morning. Living large in a tiny square, broken pieces seem to lead nowhere. Why do I feel that my life is just pretend? All my dreams stay way too small. They lead me back to where I started from. How can I move when I fear what lies ahead? Well, there's more than what I see. Each step brings me closer to free. Yes, I realize it's inside of me. I realize there are no walls in between you and me and this holy word. No walls. You and me and this holy word. I realize now, that with each new day I see my life getting bigger with less denying. It's my choice now to leave or just give in. And every morning I give thanks, amen, to all the growth I've experienced, and I've become a dream that's worth believing I am. There's more than what I see, there's more. Each step brings me closer to me. I realize it's inside of me. I realize there are no walls in between you and me, God, and this holy word, your holy word, oh, and you and me and this holy word. Well, it's a long road, but one I choose to travel through this lifetime, and I am learning what not to do. Believe me. Well, there's more than what you see. Oh, I realize it's inside of me. Yeah, oh, I realize, I know that there are no walls in between you and me. In this holy word, there are no walls. There are no walls in between you and me. And this holy word, no walls. There are no walls in between you and me and this holy word, your holy word. There are no walls between you and me, you and me, you and me, and this holy word. There are no walls in between you and me and this holy word. I realize now.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Laura Berman, everyone. We're so blessed and grateful to have you back with us, Laura.
Thank you.
All right. Hello, beloveds. My name is Reverend Elizabeth Rowley-Hogue, and I'm the spiritual director and senior minister at the Central Coast Center for Spiritual Living. And I would love to welcome you this morning to the Central Coast Center for Spiritual Living, where all that we ask is that you remain open to the possibility of changing your entire life by changing your mind. This service has been designed especially for you. Welcome home. And now we have an affirmation that is going to be on the screen here for you, and I invite you to please repeat after me. I confidently step into my greatness.
I confidently step into my greatness.
My life is amazing and all is well.
My life is amazing and all is well.
And so it is.
And so it is.
All right. Now Travis will introduce our musician for today.
All right. Yes, I am back. I'm the music director here at our beloved Central Coast Center for Spiritual Living, and it is my great honor to introduce to you Laura Berman. I'm going to read a little bit from her bio, which is extensive. This is a pared down version. So I definitely invite you to seek her out on social media and look for her music. But in the meantime, a little blurb here. Singer-songwriter Laura Berman has reached acclaim for her soul-touching vocal and honest lyrical poetry. Her style and approach is reminiscent of the likes of Carole King and Carly Simon, with a passion that is known to lift folks off the ground. Blow your hair back. I just added that one. It's awesome. Okay. Laura has performed alongside Reverend Michael Beckwith at the Agape International Spiritual Center, authors Neil Donald Walsh and Marianne Williamson, and sang backup for Grammy Award winner Enya on the David Letterman Show. We are so blessed here at the Central Coast Center for Spiritual Living to have Laura back with us this Sunday. You can find and purchase Laura Berman music at laurabermanmusic.com and pretty much anywhere music is sold. iTunes, CD Baby, Amazon. You can connect with Laura on Facebook at Laura Berman. That is her one word, two words into one word. You can find her at Laura Berman. And the fun fact about Laura Berman that you may not know, which is, Laura,
I could live on barbecue potato chips.
Whoa, wait a minute now. Okay. Without further ado, the always amazing Laura Berman. Take us away, Laura.
Thanks, Travis. Oh, I'm so grateful to be back. The song is called Godspeed, my little song therapy about letting go of the drama in my life. Light a candle, close the door, silence the voices making you wrong. Lift up the veil and see in yourself truth that's been stirring inside this tale. Oh, the truth that's been stirring inside this tale. Oh, go, my friend. Use your wings the best that you can. Godspeed, my dear. Godspeed, my dear. There's nothing left for me here. Oh, there is nothing left for me here. Oh, I've been on this road many times before. Some days I think I won't let it go. But freedom means more than this circling around, blessing the stuff that's been dragging me down. Oh, blessing the stuff that's been dragging me down. Go, go, my friend. You know this love is everything, everything. Godspeed, my dear. Godspeed, my dear. There's nothing left for me here. Godspeed, my dear. Godspeed, my dear. There's nothing left for me here. Oh, there's nothing left to hear. Oh, Godspeed. Peel off the film, a layer each day, till the last of the drama has faded away. Oh, the last of the drama has faded away. The last of the drama has faded away.
Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you, Laura Berman.
You're so welcome.
Amazing. All right, beloveds, I'm back with my announcements Angels hat. So I want to wish you all good morning, CSL. I will now read our announcements and our mission statement. With everything we do, we aim to raise the vibe. We teach innovative spiritual practices and principles that inspire deeper love of self and others, transformation, a closer relationship with God, freedom from suffering, expansive joy, prosperity, and healing of the body, mind, and spirit. We are a conscious group of positive, inspired, spiritually motivated individuals transforming lives. We just happen to have a spiritual center. Want to check us out? We are glad you're here. All right. And if you wouldn't like this information, please join us for coffee and conversation after the service, 11 a.m.-ish Pacific time via Zoom. The link will be in the comment section here, and you can also find it on our center's webpage in the Coffee and Conversation event. Next up, join us for our spiritual community connection calls every Wednesday at 1 p.m. You can find the link on our Facebook page under events. As a reminder, we're not holding these calls on Mondays and Fridays for the time being. Next up, spiritual coaching with Reverend Elizabeth. That's right, Reverend Elizabeth is now available for spiritual coaching sessions by appointment only on Thursdays between 6 and 8 p.m. Pacific Time. Please contact her at revelizabeth@ccccsl.org to book a session or to get more details. Next Sunday, we have the powerful Jamie Lula returning as our musical inspiration. Woohoo! And our e-news. So here is where you would subscribe to our e-news, our electronic newsletter, to keep up with all the amazing events happening with our center by going to our website at ccccsl.org, choose e-news, and follow the instructions there, or email us at info@ccccsl.org, and we will get you added. And many of you have mentioned, well, how do I get into service at your beautiful center? And on our last e-news, there was a section in there that you would want to, for all of you volunteer angels out there, you would contact BJ DiGirolamo, and her email is in that newsletter. So if you're not on the newsletter, be sure to look it up and look me up if you need any help. Okay? And big hello to all of our love streamers on YouTube and Facebook Live and those watching on the replay. We're loving all the comments. Please let us know where you're viewing from, and be sure to click the subscribe button to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Amazon Smile. So Amazon donates a small percentage of your eligible Amazon Smile purchases to the charitable organization of your choice. And I would have you please consider adding the Central Coast Center for Spiritual Living, Templeton, as your charitable organization. You can do so by going to our website and clicking on the Contribute to a Higher Vision button, and then scroll down to the middle of the page. All right, raise and praise. Now, she doesn't know that I'm going to do this, but I'm going to do a raise and praise right here to our beloved Reverend Minister, Reverend Elizabeth Rowley-Hogue. And I'm going to bring her into the stream right now, as I'm just going to raise and praise you right here in this moment. You know, we want to acknowledge you. I'm going to just speak upon our community. I'm going to represent our community and acknowledge your leadership for the success and the health of our center, your strong devotion to spirit, and modeling the essential and emerging teachings for us all, especially in this time such as this. You know, your ministry raises the vibe for all of us to shine our light. So in this moment, if you would just raise your hands up and give her some spirit fingers. Woo! Reverend Elizabeth, thank you. We are so grateful for your generosity, your time, and your talents. Thank you.
Thank you, honey.
You're welcome. Whoa. All right. And, you know, there's so much that goes on behind the scenes to keep our center thriving, and we appreciate all of you. We also want to thank you for your ongoing donations to our center during this unique time. Our operations are fully supported by your generosity, and we're looking forward to gathering at our physical center in the future when it's safe. You can also donate here on Facebook Live with the donate button, or via PayPal at paypal.me/CCCSLLove. You can also send a personal check to our center. We're still collecting mail there, and as we have been. You can also visit our landing page on our website and click the donate link in the center of the page. I want to thank you for your consideration, and we love you. We miss you. I'm sending out your loves and hugs to you all. And with that, my beloveds, is the announcements.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Travis. Woohoo! All right, friends, I would like to remind you that if there is something heavy on your heart for which you would like prayer for, or maybe there's something you're looking to manifest in your life, I invite you to please send your prayer requests to info@ccccsl.org, and our prayer team will pray over your prayers for the next week. And that prayer team consists of myself, Reverend Diane Davison, Jeff Tucker, and Maria Bucaro. And so now it is my honor to turn it over to Charlie Carlin for our Science of Mind reading for today. Take it away, Charlie.
Thank you very much. Today I'm going to talk about the abundance of God. How about a challenge? Think. Perhaps things are better than they appear to be. Have you ever really tried having complete confidence in the Spirit? Have you ever experimented with your own mind to see if you could come to a place where you really believe there is good enough to go around? It is as though the prophet were telling us, even the divine bounty itself, lavish and extravagant as it is, it must be that it awaits our acceptance. Possibly we have been holding our bowl of acceptance and our chalice of life upside down, so that even the fruit and the wine of the Spirit cannot be poured into it. Yet, the windows of heaven must be forever open. Today, I open my windows of my own soul, so that the windows of heaven may pour into my experience a blessing greater than I am able to receive. I will not withhold the blessing from others, for surely, as it comes to me, just as surely it will go forth multiplied and increased to heal and help, to bless, enrich, and gladden others. Today, my faith, my hope, my expectancy looks up and out and beholds a limitless abundance present everywhere, flowing through all things, a limitless love giving of itself to everything, an infinite peace enveloping all. And behind it all, and around it and through it, a joyful forever singing, a song of happiness, a song of fulfillment. This is my day. This is my heaven. This is my life. This is my God. This is where I place my trust. And so it is.
And so it is. Beautiful. Thank you, Charlie. So friends, I now invite you to turn your attention inward with me in this moment and return to that place within, which is the space where I know and remember that Spirit is all that there is. It's all that there ever was and all that there ever will be. And I'm so grateful in this moment to identify with this presence, because as I identify with it, I become it, I merge with it. And I know that as I do, I remember the truth of my life, that I am God in form. And I know this is true for each individual, and it is true for everything. It is true for the Central Coast Center for Spiritual Living. It is true for this technology, the StreamYard technology, Facebook, YouTube. And this presence of love is individually expressing itself through and as each one of us. And that means it is expressing magnificently through Travis and myself and Laura and Charlie and all of the individuals watching, all of the individuals who are part of our community. And I'm so grateful and feel the divine blessings of each one of us coming together on this day, April 25th, 2021, in collaboration for the best service ever. I know that it's already the best service ever, and we are just catching up to this in form. And so what a beautiful gift it has been and continues to be to have Travis as our master technology super producer while Gina takes some time off. And I know that BJ is exactly where she is supposed to be, out of state and caring for another beloved community member, holding the high watch for her. And I'm so grateful for the prayers that are answered for each and every individual in our community. There are some of us recovering from surgery. There are some of us recovering from health challenges and financial challenges. And I know that Spirit is the ultimate cause and that it has our backs. And so what that means for me is that there is a healing going on, and it is already happening now. And so I know that calmness is the birthright for those individuals feeling anxiety. I know that peace is present in their lives now. And I know that health and well-being are also the birthright of each individual, and we're all catching up to that in form. I see every single cell in our bodies, each one of our bodies, illuminated by the light of love, illuminated by this healing light of the divine that causes perfection to occur. And so we let it be, and we let go of our need to dwell and see the negativity in our life. As Laura Berman sang so beautifully, we say Godspeed to that and move in to who we know ourselves to be, this mighty, magnificent spiritual presence of love, perfect, whole, and complete in all that we are and all that we do and all that we think. I know that something wonderful is happening as me right now, as each individual watching. And so with that, I know that this service is blessed, that whether individuals are watching now as we are streaming live or they watch later, they feel and sense the presence of the divine and feel uplifted, inspired, and transformed. And that is a gift. So thank you, Spirit. I know it is so as I allow it to be, and give thanks, taking my hands off of it, releasing it out into that loving and creative action of the law. And so it is.
So it is. You and me, we once believed it was a good thing. Then one by one, we came undone, like we dimmed the sun. And I wanna see that now isn't how we wanna be. Oh, it's all on the table. We are shakeable, sometimes breakable, but always, we are always indestructible. Us and them take the attention. We lost direction. Oh, we've got a hold on what we think we know. Still, don't get too close. And I wanna see that now isn't how we wanna be. Oh, it's all on the table. We are shakeable, sometimes breakable, but always, we are always indestructible. Rattle the walls, lean in and fall, count to 10, and try again. Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh, I wanna see that now isn't how we wanna be. Oh, it's all on the table. We are indestructible. We are indestructible. God is, we are indestructible. I know we are indestructible.
Beautiful. Yes, we are indestructible. Yeah, and so it is. Thank you,
Amen.
Laura.
You're welcome.
What a beautiful way to begin this morning's talk. Hello, everyone. My name, once again, is Reverend Elizabeth Rowley-Hogue, and I'm the spiritual director and senior minister at the Central Coast Center for Spiritual Living. I'm so grateful you've joined us this morning as we wrap up the month of April, and it has been quite a busy month for me, quite a busy month for our center, and for so many of us. I know that things are transforming, and it has been a wonderful opportunity for us to kick off the month with Easter Sunday, and I'm kind of do a little summary of the past month. But the monthly theme for April has been stepping into the unknown. And the talk for today is stepping out and stepping up. And so when we're talking about stepping out, I'm talking about stepping out of that comfort zone and stepping up and into the spiritual, radiant, magnificent self that you know yourself to be. The reason that you tune in to a spiritual talk such as this one, you know. And so I first would love to share with you all, though, as members of the community, I wanted to just share that the remains of the body temple of my dad, Donald Rowley, have been interned. We returned from that experience. And so those remains have been placed in the final resting place in Visalia for those. And I facilitated the internment service at the cemetery, and then the service for the celebration of life with family and friends. Following that on Friday, April 23rd, and then we traveled back from Visalia. And so here we are. It's been quite a weekend, and it was very much honoring and a beautiful celebration. And as we traveled back from Visalia, I was traveling with my mom in her Lexus. And we were coming through Paso Robles on, I think it's 41 or 46, whatever that freeway is. And there's a lot of wineries out there. And so we were going and cruising along at a normal speed. And then a car just like rushed out in front of us. And my mom hit the brakes, and it was perfect timing. But this car has like smart technology, right? And so the smart car felt like she wasn't braking enough. And so then it hit the brakes, and it was like, whoa. And I was just moved by, wow, we have smart cars now. They're like our backup, right? And isn't that how God is in our lives? It's like the smart, the capital S, the smart part of our beingness that knows what it knows, and it knows what to do, when to do it, and how to do it. And even if we are a little bit timid, it is right there waiting for us to assist us and guide us. It's like our greatest cheerleader. And I am just so grateful for that, and to know and believe and remember that I have the universe backing me up in all of my affairs. And it is so, so good. And so it's good to be back in San Luis Obispo and to be with you this morning. So in March, if you'll recall, we opened ourselves up to the highest possibility for our lives by living in the question, what is Spirit's highest idea of itself as my life? And so we stayed open to that question throughout the month of March. And then in the month of April, we began our journey to begin to live from our vision and live as redefined beings in this world. And we've been embracing change, transformation, right, with curiosity as we navigate this new path with practical spirituality that we've been discussing. And so I'll just review some of the items that we looked at this month. And we began, first there was Palm Sunday, which was the last Sunday in March. And that was the beginning of Holy Week, right? So Jesus and his followers come in from the east. Pontius Pilate came in from the west with shields and swords and helmets, and they were wanting to avoid confrontation. And Jesus came in, and the crowd were saying, "Hosanna, Hosanna," and laying out palm fronds, saying, "Save us, save us." And then Monday and Tuesday, Jesus laid low. Wednesday, he spent with friends. And then Thursday was the Passover meal, and he was accused, betrayed, arrested, and imprisoned. And then Friday, he was tried, convicted, and crucified. And Saturday, there was descending. And Sunday, he was resurrected. Born again, right? Transformed into something magnificent. And so we were called to imagine that this is our story on Easter Sunday. We are imagine, in your life, where have you been? Where have I been praised, accused, betrayed, arrested, imprisoned, tried, convicted, crucified? But what if I were to never leave the scene of the crime, right? I never left the crucifixion. And the calling for us was to leave the scene of the crime. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, it is only a shadow, not to be feared. And we were remembering that if we did not leave the scene of the crime, we could not be resurrected. So leave the scene of the crime. And then it was about getting off the cross because we need the wood. And I talked about how there is tomb time, and this time is some sacred time. Oftentimes we need to have this tomb time where we can process what happened. That's a lot. Praised, accused, betrayed, arrested, imprisoned, tried, convicted, crucified, right? We've got to have some tomb time with that. We have this time where, we experience and process the different feelings that come up around that. And it's the part of you that has been invalidated, discriminated against, humiliated, violated, rejected, misrepresented, and betrayed or otherwise degraded. That is the crucified self of which I speak. And so when that happens to us, it's not like we just bounce up, and we feel the feelings around that, and it hurts, it hurts. And so we're not denying that it happened. We're feeling our feelings in that tomb time. And then we realize that our life is a story of being born in love, and that God's response, the divine response, the universal heavenly response, an answer to crucifixion is resurrection. And so that's the raising of consciousness, the transcendence, the freedom, where we have healed a sense of separation, and we have healed that through the realization of love in our lives. And so that is from within us, right? It's within us. And so we come back to life. And that happens when we hold on to that love with a capital L, despite the appearances. And then the moment comes where it's time to roll the stone away. We roll the stone away from the tomb and step free from whatever had been to what is now emerging. And we see the light, and we're walking into this new way of being, this new belief system, this new mindset, and for many, new relationships, new ending relationships, and maybe new now being single. And that could be romantic relationships, friendships that no longer serve us, and old habits, right? Old eating habits and all of that. So now we're stepping into the new, and actually filled with love and curiosity and joy about what is possible. Something magnificent is happening now. And what is that? And so the invitation was for us to consider, What is the stone that has been keeping me locked in this entire time? And as we look at that, we prepare to roll that stone away. And that's a powerful metaphor for the truth of what's happening, because the spiritual truth is that you will rise in your life again and again and again. We will all rise. That's the good news. The good news that feels bad is that you have to die before you can be resurrected. Not your physical body. I'm not talking about a physical death. The thing that has to die is the belief system, or one specific belief that has you in a state of anything other than Christ consciousness, which is anything other than that state of love, beauty, knowing who you are, joy with conviction. You walk through the world knowing that things happen, and you rise up and you be a stand for love. It is those beliefs that are going to have to die before you can rise again and rise into that presence. And we looked at, well, how do we do that? So you've got forgiveness. And I shared that story of Paco, and that story from Ernest Hemingway. And Paco, how he showed up, his dad had put an ad in the paper saying all is forgiven. And not only did Paco show up, but 800 other men who were seeking forgiveness from their own father also showed up. And that was a beautiful remembering that we all seek to have this freedom from the bondage of self, the bondage of suffering that has been created in our own minds, where we hold resentments for something. And then we remembered Jesus on the cross and how he said, "Today you will be with me in paradise," also known as the kingdom of heaven, which is so true. And then we remember there is oneness. And so that was week 1. That was like a 45-minute talk, I think. Obviously, right? And then we went into week 2, April 11th, and that talk was all about the winds of change. And I talked about the sailors, and how in Lake Leman in Geneva, or near Geneva in Switzerland, situated between the Alps and the Jura Mountains, has like 70 different winds, and the winds will die down a little bit, but the sailors have to be tuned in and looking for the disturbances on the water, because then they can see, oh, there's the wind, I need to go towards it. And then they switch and they move towards that wind. And how beautiful would it be if we as humans, having this experience on the planet at this time, could actually move toward change with joy and excitement and determination, knowing that it is the thing that is going to propel us into this new way of being that is beyond my wildest imagination. And then we were called to move from paranoia to what I called pronoia, which is the thinking that something wonderful is happening, even when it appears not to be, to adopt that mindset and adopt that frame of mind that something is wonderful. Something wonderful is happening as me right now. Yes. And we're called to find comfort in the chaos, because we see a lot of chaos going around us at times. And I shared my story about the dirt road roundabout in India, and how there were cows and goats and dogs and rickshaws, bicycle rickshaws, motorized rickshaws, camels and mopeds, people walking, and water buffalo, right? And so you have that vision of like, I didn't want to go into that roundabout, but when I let that go and fully embrace the experience, zoom, around we went. And then it took us like 6 rounds to get out, but it was fun to be in it 100%. And so we were called to lean into the experience of our lives, right? Lean into the change and know that God is right here in the midst of it all. And so as we move from paranoia into pronoia, we become less afraid. We are able to let go and release fear that something horrible might happen, and stand in the idea and the belief that something wonderful is happening. It must be. It must be because I know and I remember with every fiber of my being that God has birthed me into existence for such a time as this on this planet right now. And I've got something to do. I can't be walking around sad and afraid. I will not stand in the way of the divine living and moving and having its being and serving its purpose in my life. Although sometimes I would like to just not answer that phone, like to just sleep in, but you can't, right? And I talked about leaning into the experience in front of you and the experience of bungee jumping and the flying trapeze and how it's counterintuitive, right? It's counterintuitive. And so we have been trained and conditioned to have this level of fear that is on a different level. And so we actually have to consciously step out. We have to consciously step up and step into a new belief, step into something other than that fear. Like, well, I know I have God on my side and God has not failed me yet. And so I will have faith in it. I have the faith of the divine. It has me and it's guiding me right now and always. And then we begin to welcome everything that comes to us. We welcome it. And I shared the welcoming prayer, which was a welcome, welcome, welcome. I welcome everything, and being in that space of welcoming. And then we moved on to week 3, which was last week. And that was all about blessitation. And so we talked about blessitation, which is blessings and hesitation. And so as we are experiencing transformation and we are being shown the way, oftentimes there are hesitations along the way, right? And so we can see those hesitations and bless them rather than have them stop us in our tracks. We can bless the hesitations, call them what they are, which are blessitations, and then joyfully move forward in faith and belief. And then another word was downloaded to me, and that was blesseditation. And that is blessings plus meditation equals blesseditation. And so that is when we are taking the time and the silence to sit and connect with the God of our understanding and be with the presence of love and count our blessings, right? Count those blessings that we've seen in our life that are all around us right here and right now. Everything in front of us, everything that occurred behind us yesterday, even 5 minutes ago. And then we become open and available to the invisible blessings that are making their way into our lives now. And so as we sit in that blesseditation, we become present. And we are able to emerge from that blesseditation, knowing that something wonderful actually is happening. Look at all of these blessings in my life, right? And new mindsets come to be: trust, belief in ourselves and our lives, health and wholeness, and love and connection, and so much more, right? So we experience all of that. And with blessitation, something happens, something might happen out here. And being the conscious, aware, woke being that you are, there is a desire to respond and not react. So you take a moment of pause. And I like to say, pause for the cause, or stop, drop, and pray. And as you do so, you are turning within and checking in with your highest self, the all-knowing one, the ineffable spirit that lives within you. You connect to that innate wisdom and receive the God-given knowledge that is right within you, right in the place where your soul resides. And you receive this guidance from your intuition, and that you can now act upon that guidance rather than be stopped by the hesitation, rather than letting doubt or fear or worry consume you and keep you from moving forward and standing in the magnificent, beautiful, spiritual, radiant self that you came here to be. And I read The Friend Within You by Ernest Holmes from Living the Science of Mind. And we were invited to stop holding back, stop holding back our good, to actually take a metaphorical knee and surrender to this power and presence of love that is within you, and know that you cannot fail. There are not failures. There are only lessons. And so we've got blessitation, which is blessed hesitation, and blesseditation, which is meditation on the blessings in your life. And that is the summary of April up until now. And so here we are now, and the context of today's topic, as I mentioned previously, stepping out and stepping up and into your magnificence. So you're stepping out of your comfort zone and stepping up. Now, it could be stepping to the side or whatever. It's stepping up because it's really a feeling of, as you step out of your comfort zone, I imagine like you're sitting on the couch, you're comfortable, and then you step up and out of that comfort zone, right? And then you start to walk around and see that there's all this other new stuff around you that can be experienced in this one precious life on this planet as you. And so, the context for today, I want to start with a quote by Joseph Campbell that says, "We must be willing to let go of the life we had planned so as to have the life that is waiting for us." And now this is a reminder that we are gratefully stepping out of what has been to confidently step up and into our greatness. Excited, actually filled with an eagerness and a beautiful joy to blaze a new trail of spiritual awareness for ourselves and our lives. What have we learned thus far on our life's journey? And what gifts are we bringing to this new leg of our journey? What will we share with those who travel with us? These are some questions that we begin to carry with us as we travel along on our path. Now, nothing sounds easier than change your thinking, change your life, right? And nothing can be more frightening. And so we are reminded that in the science of mind teaching, we don't deny that a condition exists. We deny that it has to continue. And yet, we can stay comfortable in our discontent rather than risk stepping out and being that which we are called here to be. And so how can I bring that home? That may sound really out there for some of you. And so let me give you an example. We can stay comfortable in our discontent rather than risk stepping out. So for example, something happens in your life. Say you've got, your car gets broken into, okay? Your car gets broken into and some things are taken and you're really upset. And you're going to need some things to be replaced and you don't necessarily have the money at the time to replace those things. And so you are freaking out, right? You're freaking out. And then you're calling all your friends and freaking out and telling them the story of this and telling them about how bad it is. And you're crying and you're upset. And it just goes on. And until you reach somebody that says, "Hey, what do you need? What is the solution?" And that is the invitation to stop with the story, stop with the comfort in that discontent, step out of that discontent and become what you are called here to be. If you are studying the science of mind principles, then who you are called to be is to stand and affirm what you would like to experience, not share what you don't like, not share what happened and not share your anger about what happened. You want to begin, since everything we say and speak, everything we speak about, we bring about, what we talk about and what we share and think about and dwell upon is what we create in our lives. And so when you can truly get that, then what you begin to do is move from this seductive way of wanting to describe the drama in your life. You move into describing what you want to see. And as you begin to describe more of that, it begins to manifest in your life. That's what that means. And so you have a condition that exists. You don't deny that that happened, but what are you going to do? That does not have to continue. And so we continue to perpetuate in our lives the pain and the hurt and the anger when we call up our friends. Can you believe this happened? And I'm so sad. And then that friend is exhausted. And then you call the next friend, and then you write about it and talk about it some more. And it's like, really? There is a solution, my friends. And so you've got to step out of that comfort zone, because the comfort zone there is, it's easy to just talk about what happened and to be in that mode of victimhood. And so stepping out of victimhood and stepping into the second kingdom of spiritual growth and kingdom of consciousness is manifestor consciousness. You step into, okay, I know that this happened, and now who do I want to be? What will I do now? How will life unfold for me from this moment forward, right? And so that is how we bring that home. I'm not talking about some big airy-fairy thing out there. This is a tool that you can actually use in your life for any experience, to stop being comfortable in our discontent. Stop that and take the risk of stepping out to be who you were called to be, who you came here to be. Now, each of us has a unique purpose that no other person on the planet can fulfill. And if we choose to ignore our purpose, to live small, not only are we missing out, but so is the world. We, each one of us, have these divine gifts to bring and this divine light to shine. For some of us, it's music. For some of us, it's writing. For some of us, it is painting. For some of us, it's all of that. So the Renaissance person out there is like, has all of that and more that I don't even know is possible, and that's God working in their life. Yes? Are you guys with me? I'm talking really fast. I know. Its spirit is excited about this. Woo! All right. So we don't want to ignore our purpose. It doesn't serve you or the world to play small. And so let's rise up. Now, Thich Nhat Hanh says enlightenment for a wave in the ocean is the moment the wave realizes it is water. When we realize we are not separate, but a part of the huge ocean of everything, we become enlightened. Individually, we are not separate. It seems like it, and the ego likes to do a lot of funny little tricks to make itself isolated and separate. But when we realize that we are a part of the huge ocean of everything, that's when we become enlightened. We realize this through practice, and we remain awake and aware of this through more practice, spiritual practice, right? Prayer, meditation, our spirit walks, contemplative journaling and photography, and taking the time to sit in the silence, through our spiritual education and sacred fellowship and circulation, all of that, right? Practice, practice, practice. And as we step out of our comfort zone and step up to our spiritual awakening, it is good to remember that we are a part of something bigger than ourselves. So I was thinking about the comfort zone, and in contemplating that, I couldn't help but remember how just over a year ago, when we were asked to shelter in place by our governor here in California, and probably your governor, wherever you are located, we were asked to shelter in place to slow the spread of COVID. And we were required, to be flexible. We were required to be malleable, to bend with the wind, as it were. Now, we changed how we did things because we had to. We had to. See, oftentimes when faced with change, we will resist it because we know there are things that should change, but we don't have to change them, right? But in the COVID experience, we were called to change, and it was either, bend or break, right? It's either a bend or break situation. And so we bent, like, as a spiritual community, we totally bent with the wind. And the first day, the first Sunday of the lockdown, we did a Facebook Live, and we always joke about it because we've come a long way, and that is a great reminder that you don't have to, or you want to let go of being a perfectionist, because if we were perfectionists, we wouldn't have done that first service. We wouldn't have taken that first step, but we did because we were called by the divine to do it. And I think we did it from my phone, and it was like from my iPhone in our office, and the backdrop was our closet doors. And it was like, what is happening? But we just jumped in and we did it. And then it has evolved and evolved and evolved. And now we've got so many individuals who come and say, wow, your service is just so professional, and we love everything that you guys are up to. And the process of evolution, though, right? And so oftentimes when we are faced with change, we resist it. But now I know for me in my own life, I've got this practice of COVID and this practice of how we had to just change everything. And as the center, and also for my day job, I started working at home like the next day. I think it was March 16th. And it's like, wow, we can all pull together and experience transformation and be okay in it if we have to, right? But what if I were to say that your life depends on your transformation? And imagine that the way that you adapted, so many people who wouldn't want to do anything online, they were able to figure out how to get online, how to view the services, how to download the Zoom app onto their phone and connect in that way, right? Because we had to. So realizing that we are being called to fulfill our divine destiny, and in order to become what we are called to become, we've got to let go of some things that are not going to be needed on this new level of consciousness, because that's what we are stepping up and into, really. It's a new level of consciousness, And I was thinking about how when we're kids and we're growing up and we have certain toys that we play with, and then we evolve and develop to such a degree that those toys are now, that was so 2 years ago, or that's for, the 10-year-old, and I'm 11 now, or whatever, right? All the way up to, we just continue to grow and evolve and develop. And we need new toys. We need a new way to stay mentally engaged. These kids need a new way to be challenged and to offer them a greater opportunity to grow into who they are growing up to be. Are you with me? Can I get an and so it is in the comments? Right? So this is what happens. So we master one area and move on to the next area of our life. Flying trapeze is a great example, I was doing the flying trapeze and I got really good at that first initial trick. And I was just so good. I was like stoked, man. I was flying through the air with the greatest of ease. And I remember the instructor said, okay, now it's time for you to learn a new trick. And I was like, what? I don't want to learn a new trick. I'm so good at this one. I want to just keep doing this one and get faster and faster. I mean, you can only get so fast. It's like there's so much I can improve upon, my form and having my feet exactly in the right, aerodynamic position when I step off the platform. But no, it was time for me to learn a new trick. And so begrudgingly, I did. And it was like, oh, wow, I can learn new tricks. And so that's what is up, right? We're stepping out of our comfort zone and stepping up and into new levels of consciousness. So we're called to let go of one shore to get to the other shore, right? Now, as we begin this journey and step out into the unknown, we've got to look at what we're bringing with us. What will we bring? And what are we willing to leave behind? as we've been cast to play this part in our own lives, in the life of all of humanity since our very first breath. We've probably accumulated some things that we don't need. And by things, I mean beliefs, false ideas. So ask yourself, how can I, or actually, if I was living my life fully, what would I be doing? If I was living my life fully, full out, 110%, right? What would I be doing? And then do that. Do that, and don't let the disillusioned self, the old self, try to pull you back. Oh, but don't do that, then you're not going to be this. And that reminds me of letting go of stuff, when you pick something up and it doesn't spark that joy in you, and then you go, yeah, but I remember the time when blah, blah, blah. And this thing represents that. And if I let go of that, I'll be letting go of that memory, which is so not true. And so what are we called to let go of and step into, right? We know what we're stepping into. We're stepping into the unknown. We're stepping up into new levels of consciousness. So you may have heard, I know you've all heard, leap and the net will appear. It's so true, right? You leap and the net appears out of nowhere. Suddenly, out of no way, a way is made. And so we're called, my friends, to walk in the world, but not be of the world, be of what you have subjectified. And so what that means is be of the God of your understanding. You're now walking in the world, but you are not of the world. You are remembering who you came here to be. So that means there's less identification with the egoic roles of yourself and your life, or just roles in general, and you're now identified with the source of all of creation rather than being identified with the creation itself. You are now back, you take the backward step and realize that there is something that has created me and everything, and you identify with that. And you want to live at this level of high frequency. That's why you're tuned in here today. That's why we come to spiritual gatherings like this. That's why we pick up spiritual books and read them. We are tuned in. We are called to live at a higher frequency. And so I know that all of us have the media and that litany of negativity that is bombarding our minds every single day on a consistent basis. It's this fog of disbelief and illusion that keeps us locked into some need to navigate through that. We're trying to figure out how to navigate through the fog of illusion. But what we're really needing to do is stand back and see the true reality of your life, which is God, and turn down that fog. You have the power to do that. Turn that down and walk in the consciousness of God. Act as if you are meeting your best friend, right? Act as if the lover of my soul and keeper of my spirit is here right now. And I know it. And so I seek it. And as I look around for it, I find it and I participate in it. It's not like I'm wishing for it. I'm not wishing for something to appear. And it's sometimes occurs like a wailing and a gnashing of teeth on your way to transformation, right? Like, but that occurs because something is dying and you're holding on to it. So we have this gnashing of teeth, like, I don't want to. And it's oftentimes kicking and screaming on the path of transformation, but let it go because something is dying. Something is dying. And there is such a great experience. I don't know if I'd call it great, but it's also a counterintuitive experience to allow something to die. And you really experience that profoundly when you're allowing actually the body of a loved one to die, because it's our nature to save the body, right? And we got to let things die sometimes, though. We've got to let them die. But fear not, my friends, because something may be dying, yet fear not, because something new is also being born. And so in this time of transformation, we're called to activate our spiritual faculties and remember that we die daily at night. We realize that we are releasing this day that has gone, and we rise again the next day, brand new, brand new. Every day is a brand new baby day. And so vibrationally, as we rise up to this level of consciousness, we begin to join the holy fellowship, which is the city of God. So we let the old ways of being die. Remember that we volunteered to be here at this time. We're not running and hiding. We're remembering who we are. We're keeping our vibrational frequency up to the best of our abilities. Sometimes we fall, but that's okay. You fall down, you rise up again. You don't build your condo in the valley of the shadow of death, right? You rise again. And remember that we are taking an adventure in paradise. I'm taking an adventure in paradise right now. And this is a Michael Beckwith song, right? He says, I'm taking an adventure in paradise. And guess what? I'm taking you with me. I'm activating my spiritual stimulus package. So activate your spiritual stimulus package today, my friends. Feel that all of your needs are met. And remember that the Science of Mind teaching is a perfect roadmap for our spiritual, emotional, physical, and financial awakening. We are an integral part of the creative process. Every person has a story they can tell about how these teachings have changed their lives. Now is the time to share your good. Be strong in your conviction and stronger in your faith. The world needs you. And so step out of your comfort zone and step up into who you have come here to be. And I wanted to share that in Brene Brown's book, Braving the Wilderness, she uses the acronym BRAVING on page 113 to 114. And if you haven't heard that, I wanted to share that and close with you as we begin to brave the wilderness. So braving is B, boundaries, which is to set, hold, and respect your boundaries. R is reliability. Learn to say what you mean and mean what you say. And A is accountability. Step up. Be accountable. Take responsibility and issue meaningful apologies when you're wrong. V is vault. This means to keep confidences. Recognize what is ours to share and what is not ours to share. And I is integrity, and her meaning and context for integrity here is to practice your values, even when it's difficult and hard. And N is non-judgment, and that is give and receive help without judgment. And this one is my favorite. G is generosity. Learn how to be generous in your assumptions about others. What does that mean? That means think that people are always acting and behaving from the highest and best. I'm talking about those individuals in your life closest to you. Not talking about convicted felons, right? I'm not talking about that. Learn to be generous with the people in your life, generous in your assumptions, Like think instead that something magnificent must be happening, because it is. And so, my friends, step out of your comfort zone and step into your greatness. Let's pray. So as we turn our attention inward, we return to this place of magnificent beauty, that is right here within me. It is the kingdom of paradise that is here right now, this kingdom of heaven. And I'm so grateful in this moment to know that this kingdom lives within me and lives within each individual everywhere, regardless of your upbringing, regardless of who you are and where you've been. The same kingdom of heaven that lives in me lives within each of us. And I'm so grateful for that. And I'm so grateful to have this opportunity to identify and connect with that internal space within. Because as I identify with it, I release my identification with what is going on out in the world. I'm identified now with spirit to such a degree that these divine gifts that live within me have a free and open channel to express out in the world. And that means through my thought, through my word, through my deed, and everything I think and speak and live and move and have my being in a universe that is working for me, never against me. Life is here and I am available to it now. And I know this is true for everyone. And so as we step out of our comfort zones, step out of old ways of being, step out of the fog of illusion, step out of our addictions and our addictions to the media and what's going on and our need to navigate through it, we step back and into this spiritual magnificence. And then we begin to live our lives and realize that we don't have to conform, that we can be spiritually identified and have a magnificent experience in the world, because we are not of the world. We are in the world, but we have realized the truth of who we actually are. Spiritual beings having a human experience. We are divine. We are souls who have landed in bodies for such a time as this. And the soul is called to live out the divine purpose that it came here to be and do. And that divine purpose is part of that is to have a spiritual awakening to such a degree that my life is transformed and all of the lives around me are also transformed. And as we continue to raise the vibe, the world is transformed. And so let's stand in our magnificence. And I know that each one of us joins together and we can hold hands and know that what we are stepping away from might have been comfortable, but what we are stepping into is so much more mighty and magnificent than we could have ever imagined. And we are excited and filled with eager and joyful expectancy and cheerful anticipation for the good. And it's not a selfish thing. It's like there is good for me and I ought to have it. And this is true for all of us. And we say yes to it right now. And so in that yes, I know that we are blessed and it is good. And this day is magnificent. And I'm so grateful for all that is and for all that is yet to be. And I let that appreciation and love wash over me as I release this prayer out into that loving and creative action of the law, where I know it is done. And so it is.
Amen. So it is. I'm coming out of this long night's journey into the day, and I am not afraid anymore to look in the mirror. Wipe all the tears off of my face, and sadness fades. I am ready to who I came here to be. I'm ready to be everything that I am, everything that I am, everything that I am. Too many years I spent putting square pegs in circular holes, and I didn't know myself. Why would I come here to live a life stuck in a mold and be bought and sold? Oh, I'm ready to be who I came here to be. I am ready to be everything that I am, everything that I am, the I am. I am 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 the I am. I am. Sing that together. I am the I am. I am the I am. And I am ready to be who I came here to be. Everything that I am.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Oh, I just love your beautiful music.
Thank you.
What a gift. Thank you, Laura. Woohoo. All right. So, friends, it is now time for our gifts, tithes, and offerings. And I would invite you, if this service has inspired you in any way, please consider making a donation to our center. And I believe you can make a donation on Facebook. Can you put the donation button back? Yay, there it is. Good job. There's an opportunity to give right through Facebook. It says now you can give. And there's also an opportunity to give over PayPal at paypal.me/CCCSL-love. And your contribution helps us carry our mission out in the world. And we are raising the vibe. And it allows us to also have amazing musicians such as Laura Berman and all of the other beautiful souls who have come to join us during this year. Oh, it's been so good. So we have a giving affirmation, and I invite you to please repeat after me. From the love of pure spirit within me, I bless this gift.
From the love of pure spirit within me, I bless this gift.
I send it forth to heal and bless and prosper.
I send it forth to heal and bless and prosper.
It is evidence of my faith and my belief.
It is evidence of my faith and my belief.
It does great work in the world.
It does great work in the world.
And it returns to me multiplied abundantly.
And returns to me multiplied abundantly.
And so it is.
And so it is.
Woohoo! And won't you know with me that you are never alone, that God is where you are right now and always, and all that you ever need to do is look within, and it is here you will find you are guided, sustained, directed, and inspired by a source that knows only good. Joyously let us make use of these gifts in all that we think, in all that we say, and in all that we do. And please repeat after me. Something wonderful is happening as me right now.
Something wonderful is happening as me right now.
It is this thing called life.
It is this thing called life.
Life is in my mind.
Life is in my mind.
Life is in my body.
Life is in my body.
Life is in my pocketbook.
Life is in my pocketbook.
Life is in my relationships.
Life is in my relationships.
I think it.
I think it.
I feel it.
I feel it.
I believe it.
I believe it.
I express it.
I express it.
I accept it.
I accept it.
Just the way that it is.
Just the way that it is.
And just the way that it is not.
And just the way that it is not.
Thank you, life.
Thank you, life.
Woo! Have
All
a
right.
great week, friends. Love you.
Love you, love you. All right, love streamers. I'm going to bring Laura Berman in to play a couple of bars to send us out. And I'd invite you to join us for Coffee and Conversation on the Zoom link. I did put it in the chat. And we just love you so much. And we'll see you on the Zoom chat. Take it away, Laura.
I want to see that now isn't how we want to be. Oh, it's all on the table. I know that we are indestructible. This love is indestructible. We are perfect and whole, always indestructible. I know this,
Thank you, Laura. Thank you, beauties, love streamers.
Mwah.
Mwah.